Hello, everyone. Welcome to Knits. My name is Claudia, and I am a knitting instructor, a knitting reviewer. I do knitting for a living, so I'm a professional knitter. And today I thought I would have fun because I'm a little bored, and I saw on the BookTube community on YouTube, BookTube, yeah, someone do book trivia, and I thought maybe I can find some knitting trivia and play little games and see how well I can answer the questions. And also, if the knitting trivia that is online on one particular website, if it's actually accurate or if it's not, because sometimes it's not completely there. But today we're going to be using the website Sporkle. I don't know if you know about it, but it is a quiz website where people can upload quizzes of all sorts, and then you can just play the quiz. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and let's do this. So the first thing that happened when I went on Sporkle, I typed in knitting, and I could see all these quizzes that were about, knitted items like knitted animals, foods made from yarn, holiday foods, and that's not what I want. Okay, what I want is actual knitting knowledge. So I found a few, and I will start with this one. Okay, so this one is called Textile Arts. Can you name the fabric or yarn related crafts by picture? We're starting with something that I might not know because I'm really a knitter. I know how to crochet, I know how to spin. I don't really know much about sewing and other fiber crafts. So let me see if I can figure out by these pictures what these are. Play quiz. Okay, so I get to type in what I know. So obviously there's knitting. Oh, that's fast. Okay. And then there is spinning that I can see right next to knitting. Fun. It actually puts the name of the craft right next to like where it is on the picture. So the first one would be sewing then. Okay. This one would be, is it like a needle point or oh, no, needle point was here. Okay, good. I'm so bad. Oh, yeah, needle point. Okay, there's a lot of needle point at the chalet where I go spend time. I guess my husband's grandmother, who he never knew, was very much into needlepoint. Anyway, oh, I'm timed, so I shouldn't be just chatting. Okay, then what can I say? I can see crochet. I can see weaving. I can see felting. Quilting. Okay. Um, rug hooking. Oh, latch hook. Okay, so the little duck here is latch hook, which is also rug hooking, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Would this be cross stitch? It counted cross stitch. Great. That looks like a braid. Is braiding? Okay, braiding is a thing in fiber. Okay. That's the tiny little things that you kind of, it looks really difficult and complicated. Is it tat lace? Okay. So it's called lace as well, I guess, and it looks like that. Perfect. This one, um is it like bracelet, like those knots that you make friendship bracelets out of? It looks like, what is a knot? Oh, if you put knot, it brings you to macrame. Makes sense. Macrame is a bunch of knots. I don't know how to do macrame, but it's beautiful and I love it. I wouldn't necessarily have associated this picture with macrame though. That looks like beads. Oops, not bed. Okay. I have this one. This one is some sort of needle something. Here, what do I not have? This looks like, a crochet chain, but um embroidery. Okay. Yes. And this one also looks to be done with a needle and thread to create an image, but it looks a lot more like parallel. And oh my, here you go. 94%, average score 66%. You and this quiz go together like chocolate and peanut butter. Oh, Reese's. I want chocolate and peanut butter right now. Okay. Tapestry. Here you go. I did not know that this was called tapestry. So that's the first quiz, guys. I did pretty well. So let's go see the next quiz. I'm going to share this one. Knitting by Sporkle category. Choose the correct answer to one knitting related question for each Sporkle category. I don't know what that means, but I guess I'll have to figure it out as I play the quiz. Go. Holiday. The giving, though not so much the wearing of knitted jumpers as gifts, was first associated with which holiday? Christmas? Okay. Referencing the tools used, which were described as a craft loosely closely related to knitting and is derived from the French for small hook, crochet. The fact that I'm French helps, but just the picture is enough. When played in cooler condition, this outer pullover, in which sports kit is still usually cable knit, traditionally in white, often cream. Cricket. I could not imagine football be played in a knitted jumper. Having learned the craft as part of his rehabilitation program while in cryostasis, Sylvester Stallone's John Spartan knitted Sandra Bullock's a garment to atone for his boorish behavior in which film? Oh, I don't know. So that's the kind of stuff that doesn't look like a 2014 movie. I would go with Demolition Man. I went solely on the picture. Although it was twice denied a patent for it, which 1589 invention of William Lee was the first to perform mechanical knitting. The spinning Jenny, stocking frame, knitting Nancy, old. Oh, well, there's a lot of stocking machines, but they don't necessarily look like this. But at the same time, let's call it the. It looks like a frame. Yes. Okay. Lying about halfway between Shetland and Orkneys, which isolated island is famous for its patterned knitwear and its Fair Isle? Fair Isle is beautiful. Like I'm talking about the knitting, but I would love to see the Fair Isle as well, the actual physical Fair Isle. Said to possess the ability to knit even while riding pillion on her husband's motorbike, which educator and innovator hosted a show titled Knitting Workshop on PBS in the late 1970s. Um, I mean, the only person, late Elizabeth Zimmerman? Yeah. Oh, knitting knowledge. That's tough. You have to actually really know of like knitting, have knitting trivia knowledge. Originally established in 1932 by Condé Nast, which Knitting Quarterly owes its name, though no longer its ownership, to a popular lifestyle magazine. Would be Vogue Knitting. Yes. Prized for softness, and I can see right away just looking at the animal, it is Kiviet. I don't even have to answer, but maybe I should have read the question for you guys. In the appropriately named 1991 hit I'm Going Slightly Mad, which band sang about knitting with only one needle? I feel like I'm going slight. I feel like Queen says I'm going slightly mad, but it could be Genesis too. Oh, my dad is not going to be proud of me if I miss this one. I think it's Queen. Yes. Continuing to knit for nearly 30 years, despite living with blindness and severe pain, Lebanese nun, I'm not going to try her name, Rebecca, considered an unofficial patron of knitters, belonged to which Christian denomination? Oh, religion is not my forte, people. I'm going to go with Maronite. That was just luck. Absolutely. Entertainment growing popularity in recent years. The act of turning leftover knitting materials into street art is known as what? It's called yarn bombing, and it's beautiful. I love it. This knitted beanie was inspired by which video game franchise? Okay, that's not knitting knowledge. It is just Pac-Man. It's gaming knowledge. Or if you were born in the 80s like me, you know of Pac-Man probably. The monstrous tangle that is a likely result of working from a poorly wound yarn ball is humorously known in some knitting circles as what? Really? Needless Wonder, Gordian Knot, The Mummy's Curse, and Hankenstein? None of those would have been my choice. I would have said Yarn Barf. Yeah, it's Yarn Barf. But we're going to say Hankenstein. Okay, even though it made sense because there's a lot of pieces of yarn of Hanks. Sorry for the traffic. All wound together. Also describing setting forth and a seafaring sense, which knitting term means a project is complete. It's casting off. You cast off when you're done. Technically, you cast off. You don't have to be done to cast off. You cast off a piece and then you maybe have more to do. You could be picking back up. So I have 100%. Good job, Chloe. But not everything in there was necessarily 100% right. But it was difficult. Okay, next one is knitting abbreviations. Can you imagine knitting abbreviations with their definitions? I sure hope so. Knit two together. Okay, K2 tug. Where are you? I wish I could just write it. It would be faster. Knit two stitches together. Stockinette stitch or stocking stitch. That works too. Make one. Here you go. GST garter stitch. I've never really read the garter stitch in a condensed form, I guess. C4F, cable for front is what I would say. Cable forward, for forward, same thing. WSF, wrong with stitch, wrong side facing. Okay, that's going to be it because it's obvious, but I wouldn't have, I don't know that I would have gotten it if I didn't have the stuff here. Increase. DPN is double pointed needle, pass, slip, stitch over. M, make, but it's going to be marker. Slip, purl two together, cast on, decrease, knit, purlwise. Well, so if the other one was wrong side facing, this one is right side facing. Through the back loop, purl, and yarn forward, which, yeah, most likely I would write with yarn in front instead of yarn forward, but that's okay. That was easy peasy with all the stuff written down. If I had to write it, maybe I wouldn't have had 100%. Cool. Next one. Knitting yarn weights. Can you name the different hand knitting yarn weights? Okay. Oh, I just have to, okay, enter it. I'll try and enter it in order. I have a minute. Okay, lace weight, fingering, DK, sport first. Sport, DK. I guess I forgot cobweb. Okay, thread. And then worsted, Aran. No Aran? What? Come on. Bulky, super bulky. There you go. I even had one extra, more than them. So in between in between worsted and bulky, you have Aran weight. And sometimes people use worsted and Aran as interchangeable, but technically Aran is a little bit bigger than worsted. I do believe I'm right in that. So here we go. That was fast. I did it in 30 seconds and I had a minute. All right. Share this tab. Famous people knitting or crocheting. Okay, so I clicked on it because it's fun and I'm mostly curious to see how they knit or crochet. So and it's two. Is there another one? Okay, well, anyway, I'll take the two. Let's try and see if I know these people. Okay, this is what's his name again? Christopher Walken? Not walking, Walken. Um, okay, that's I know that this is one of the young actresses. By the way, Christopher Walken, I'm pretty sure was not knitting for real. There, she's knitting. She seems to be knitting for real, and her name is Fanning. No, yeah, Dakota Fanning. Oops. Okay, this is Sarah Jessica Parker. Maybe just the last name is enough, and I'm not 100% sure. I can't see her anymore. Shit. Okay. If she was knitting, that's Hagel, Kate, Catherine Hagel, and she seems to be purling. She seems to be holding it pretty well. She might be knitting. I don't know how to spell her last name. Catherine? No. Okay, so sorry, I don't know your name properly, but she was in uh, Grey's Anatomy. I don't know who, old time actor. He's holding his needles right. Maybe he's knitting. Not sure. Catherine Zeta Jones is holding her needles like my grandmother used to hold them, which is from underneath. Meryl Streep, and she looks to be knitting for real. This I don't know who she is. She's definitely making a crochet piece, but I cannot see if she's actually holding a crochet or if she's holding yarn. She doesn't seem very comfortable. That's Scarlett Johansson, and she's was she holding? I'll look at it after. I think she was holding a crochet scarf and knitting needles. Wrong. Um, what's his name again? People are gonna like be like Claudia. It's definitely crocheting. He's holding a crochet and he has a crocheted piece, and he seems to be decently organized. So I'm guessing he's crocheting for real. Um, why can't I remember his name? Sorry. It's more interesting to see if they're actually doing it. Uh, no idea who that is. She's knitting. She seems to be in the know of what she's doing ish. I do not know who that is either, and she's not even really holding her knitting much, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was her knitting because, you know, at that time people were most likely all knitting. That is this is Claudia not knowing people's names even though I can recognize them visually, and she's absolutely knitting for real. Uh I know who she is. I can't remember her name. Next. I'm really awful. I don't know. I don't even know who she is at all. Um, can't tell you, but she seems to be knitting. And again, according to the picture, the time frame, she's probably knitting for real. Same thing. Same thing. I'm really bad at this one. Is that no. Oh, I think I'm gonna just give up on this one, guys, because it's getting a little bit. I'm just kind of going through and yeah, I'll give up. Okay, so that's Vanna White. Okay, I don't know who Vanna White is. Yeah, I knew Scarlett, and then Kurt Cobain. I knew who he was. I just didn't say his name. Mama Cass. To be honest, I almost said Mama Cass, but I didn't want to like be totally wrong. Sojourner Truth. Amanda Siegfried, Lord. Okay, Debbie Reynolds, Joan Crawford, Vivian Lees, Lucille Ball. Yes, here you go, obviously. David Arquette, Tracy Ullman, Hagel, okay, with no E, and Cary Grant. Thank you very much, famous people. I did not know you. Now, can you identify the correct knitting term from its definition? Interesting. A piece of knitting is still in progress, work in progress. Yes, whip. Carefully unknitting a series of stitches in order to correct the mistake. Tinking. Yarn wound into one big loop, then twisted around itself as a hank. Small sample of knitting fabric is a swatch, and everybody hates it, even though it's really important. A fabric characteristic produced by crossing a group of stitches in front or behind another group of stitches is cable. Finished object is an FO. Wetting a finished piece and pinning it to dry is blocking. Fabric produced by knitting all stitches on the right side and purling on the wrong is stockinette. A method of decreasing by knitting two stitches together, knit two together, K2 tug. An independent brick and mortar store, LYS, local yarn store. A fabric produced by alternating knit and purl stitches, ribbing. Wool that hasn't been spun into yarn is fiber roving. Okay, roving works, but there's so much more than just roving that can be spun into a yarn. The roving is the method, the prep for the fiber. Putting new stitches on a needle is casting on. A medium weight thickness is worsted. Yarn wound into a cylindrical shape is a cake of yarn, and ripping apart large sections is frogging because we rip it, rip it, rip it. All right, easy peasy. And one last one, why not, is word ladder. Learn to speak knitting. Can I learn how to speak knitting, you think? Let's do it. Okay, I have to write down stuff. Okay, price. Huh? Can you complete this? Learn to speak knitting? Okay, so I don't know how this is knitting related, but form stitches on the needle or okay, cast. Okay, place. I don't know. Uh, Joseph had one of many colors. Um, so most of those don't are not even knitting related. Basic stitch in knitting, reverse or of purl stitch is knit. So some of them are knitting, but twist into ringlets. No. The other basic stitch in knitting, well, we just said, okay. Correct an error by ripping out many stitches at once because perhaps so named because it sounds like rip it, rip it. I just said it, it's frogging. So it's frog. So correct error is thinking. Finish a piece of knitting so it won't unravel, bind off. And I think everything else is not even knitting related. So you know what? I'm just not gonna do it. Because I don't feel like doing this when it's not even knitting related. So that's it for today. I'm gonna go back to you. Hello. And I hope you had some fun doing some trivia with me. I wish there was more trivia that was actual like knowledge about knitting because that's so much more that's so much fun to learn more about your craft. So if you do have a reference for knitting trivia that has, good knowledge stuff, let me know. I would love to answer it on the channel. And if you would like to have an episode on, how people on screen knitting, if they're really actually doing it correctly or not, I'd love to do that as well. If you have other ideas of what I can do on this channel as a professional yeah, as a professional knitter, let me know. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.